This chart maps the volume of inquiries received by a city's Tourist Information Office over the first 6 months of 2011. The data categorizes these interactions into 3 distinct methods of communication: in-person visits, telephone calls, and written correspondence by letter or email. Let's establish our January baseline. Telephone calls start high, with approximately 900 inquiries logged in the first month. In-person visits sit significantly lower, registering at roughly 450. Written inquiries by letter or email land squarely between them, at about 750. Comparing these starting positions reveals a clear numerical ratio. Telephone inquiries are roughly twice the volume of those made in person. This establishes a distinct initial hierarchy. The telephone is the dominant channel, written correspondence occupies the middle tier, and physical face-to-face interactions are the least utilized method of contact. From that baseline, the mint green telephone line drops to 800 in February. We describe this trajectory as having dipped slightly. That specific phrasing indicates a minor, temporary negative vector on the graph. By March, the data point plots upward to 1,000, effectively recovering from that initial drop. Moving into April, the volume of telephone inquiries holds exactly at 1,000. Lexically, this data point remained unchanged. Mathematically, it translates to a perfectly flat trajectory with a slope of 0. That period of stagnation breaks in May, when the volume jumps to approximately 1,400, a movement accurately described as having climbed sharply. If you compare the steep positive angle of this climb against the shallow negative angle of the February dip, the physical difference in velocity is clear. Despite early volatility and a full month of flatlining, the telephone method demonstrates a pronounced overall upward trend as we move into the summer. Now look at the baby pink line representing in-person visits. From 450, it hit 600 in February and 800 in March. It rose steadily. A steady rise describes a consistent positive slope, predictable growth without sudden dips or spikes. In April, that steady pace changes. The line shoots from 800 to approximately 1,300, an increase defined as surging. Look at the coordinates in April. This single surge is the moment face-to-face visits overtake both telephone and written correspondence. Having claimed the top position, the pink line continued upwards, reaching roughly 1,550 in May. Even when the telephone line climbed sharply during these same 2 months, the aggressive slope of the in-person surge clearly outpaces it. Through uninterrupted growth, in-person inquiries went from the lowest volume on the chart to the dominant method in just 4 months. Let's track the final metric. Written correspondence drops from 750 to 700 across February and March, effectively slipping. Much like our early telephone dip, slipping describes a shallow, gradual negative slope. But in April, the lavender line drops to approximately 550, falling more sharply. The visual difference between slipping and falling sharply is the steepness of the negative angle. This establishes an overarching trend. The volume of letters and emails declined almost continuously, pushing down to the 350 mark by May. Out of all 3 channels, written correspondence is the only metric displaying an inverse relationship to time. It acts as a direct mathematical countertrend to the rise of face-to-face interactions. Mapping the final endpoints in June, telephone calls finish at 1,600. In-person visits reach their highest absolute value, peaking at 1,900. Letters and emails bottom out at exactly 350. Comparing these final positions to where we started, the initial ranking of telephone, written, in-person has completely reversed. By the end of this 6-month period, face-to-face inquiries are the most common method of contact. Correspondence by letter or email followed the exact opposite pattern, ending the period as the least common method. Reconstructing this data relies on understanding how specific vocabulary, words like surging, slipping, and climbing, describes the way these 3 methods completely swapped positions over 6 months. This video is brought to you by the IELTS FOCUS, Zalo 084-770-5973, an English center specializing in IELTS preparation. Reach out today for expert guidance, proven strategies, and targeted preparation to achieve your best possible band score.